Hey there, I will be the Dark Arts Tour coming to West Siloam Springs, Oklahoma at Cherokee Casino. That's June 9th. June 15th and 16th, Yuck Yucks, Calgary, Alberta. And that's in Canada, our friends, our northern friends. 23rd of June, Tembler Brewing, Bakersfield, California. In Bakersfield, boy, anything can happen out there. You might go missing. You might start a family. You might find gold, baby. That's Bakersfield. July 6th through 8th, Levity Live, and that's in Oxnard, California. July 20th through 22nd, Charlie Goodnight's, Raleigh, North Carolina. August 16th through 18th, the Laugh Factory in Chicago, Illinois. You've been asking, and I'm excited to come back there to the state that my mother was born in. August 23rd to August 25, Helium Comedy Club in Buffalo, New York. And if they don't have the tickets up for sale, then hit them up and ask them why. September 14th and 15th, that's Zanies in Nashville, Tennessee. Some more dates will be added. And I'm just grateful to be getting out there and having people come, man. It's going to be fun, and we're going to do some cool stuff. We're also going to start doing some outreach where we're going to do some things for single moms in some of these cities. So whenever we go into a city and do a show or a weekend of shows, we're going to have people in advance. Listeners can submit single mothers that they know. And we're gonna get the mother a babysitter, her babysitter, so she has somebody that she trusts, and we're gonna, take care of her and a friend, take them out to dinner, and then get them a nice setup at the show, a nice second or third row seat, and just make it so a nice single mom can come out and enjoy an evening and know that her children are being taken care of. I think that's going to be really, really cool. And I want to thank our Patreon supporters, because that's what our Patreon money is going to start going towards, is paying for things like that. So really excited about that. And man, it's going to be cool. This is so cool. It's like this is going to be a fun fall. We're also going to do one other show in rural Illinois. And it's a fundraiser for the Paramount Theater, and that's in Wyoming, Illinois. Those dates will be up this week as well, and that's going to be June 29th, a Friday, 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. That's in Stark County, Illinois, and that's middle of nowhere, boy. And that's where I'm from. Not there originally, but I'm from middle of nowhere, just a different one, down in Louisiana. This episode, as always, is brought to you by Greyblock Pizza. Greyblock, 1811 Pico Boulevard in Los Angeles. They got that food, and they got that feeling, and all you need is your face. Greyblock Pizza, get that hitter. Dude, I hate to use this music again to start off our show, but I also love to use it again, and this is Shine by Bishop Gunn. I just needed this today. Come on now.
I'm just sitting on your front porch, wondering how could I be so far from my home. And my mind is somewhere else, but when I find it, I'll patch up where it's been blown. Now I'm just floating on the breeze, and I feel I'm falling like these leaves. I must be cornerstone.
Must be cornerstoned.
Oh, but when I reach that ground, I'll share this peace of mind I found. I can feel it in my bones.
I can feel it, baby. Can you feel that?
But it's gonna take a little time for me to set that parking brake and let myself
come on now.
Shine that light on me.
Come on now.
I'll sit and tell you my story. Shine on me, and I will find a song. I will
sing it just for you. And that is Shine by Bishop Gunn off of the new album Natchez. And that's out of Natchez, Mississippi. And I used to work a lot of you guys already know it. I'll say it one more time. One of my good friends who passed away, he died of addiction. And he used to he employed me to work on his farm for a few years, and I became good friends with his family right after college. And one of his sons is now the drummer in that beautiful band called Bishop Gunn, and that's their single that's hitting the airwaves, man. It's called Shine. And yeah, that just, it makes me feel good when I hear that song. And so I had to start off with that. Thanks for coming in, and welcome to you, whoever you are, if you're listening, you got your ears open, and you're sharing a moment of your time with me, man. What's going on? A lot of stuff is going on. We had, I got to go on Joe Rogan this week. We went on Joe Rogan, and Joe Rogan's, I was nervous, first of all. I was nervous because I look up to Joe so much, and for some reason with me, I think when I look up to somebody, for some reason it makes me kind of nervous. I guess, well, you want to, I don't know. It's like when you're hanging out, you know what it feels like to me a little bit? It's like you're hanging out with your big brother and his friends. And you're like, you want to, you're just, I don't know. I was just nervous. But it was wild, man. And right off the bat, Joe starts talking to me, and I love Joe. I'm extremely grateful to him. He's done a lot of nice things, small things that were really nice for me, like like he would just see me do comedy, and I've said this before, but he would just drop me a text a couple days later, the next day, and just say, "Hey, man, you had a really good set," and that kind of stuff. Like, you don't realize sometimes, like, somebody that you admire, like, telling you something, sharing something positive, supporting what you do. You don't realize how much that means to that person. And he doesn't, I don't think he doesn't probably realize it. But it's like I would get those texts, and I'm like, wow, man. It's like your big brother. It's like, I don't know. It's just like it's like impressing your brother, or impressing, I don't know. And that kind of stuff really just has resonated with me over the years. He's done that. And Joey Diaz does that as well. He'll call you. But Joe would do that sometimes and just hit me up and say, "Hey, man, you were really funny last night." And, coming from, my life, when all I wanted to do probably was, make people I admired, make them feel like I was part of, like I was okay. And maybe some of that goes back to like father and brother, not being present growing up and all of that. But, just when you have a male figure, and it, just that support, that's really what it is. Joe's been so supportive. And so, anyway, but I was excited to be in there, and I was excited to get to hang out with him, because he thinks like wild. He thinks like he's got, it's like, I think he has more than one brain in his head. Joe Rogan might have 5 or 6 brains in there. And one of the brains is probably and then he might have other brains orbiting around brains. He might have one brain that's, he might have brains in the distance, cooking elk. I mean, he's got, he continues to kind of like expand his way of thinking. And so right in the beginning, he was talking about if there were infinite universes, and if there were more than just one of you. And I couldn't even, I was so nervous, kind of, I was just, couldn't even think really that good. But then now I'm thinking, after that, I texted him the next day, and I was like, man, I'm obsessed now with wondering if there are infinite universes, this is what he was saying, if so many infinite universes that there would be a possibility for you to meet your exact self. Like, say the two universes get close enough to each other somehow in orbits or whatever, and then there's, programs, you're both astronauts or something, and you meet, like, if you were able to meet your exact self, think about that, if you were able to meet your exact self. And I was just like, I left there thinking, would I like myself? Like, if I met me, like, would I like me? What would I do? What would I think? Would I think I was neat? Would I think I was tall? Would I think that I was handsome? Would I think that would I know if I were able to look into my own eyes, would I be able to like see my truths at like another dimension? Especially since most of my life, especially growing up, like I didn't have a lot of self-worth. So most of my self-worth would come from what other people thought of me. There was no, there was nothing inside of me. So everything that I knew I had to get from the outside. And so I was so hyper aware of what other people were constantly thinking because I needed to be, because I needed that next second and that next minute and that next, just to know. I was monitoring how I was and if I was okay through moment to moment interaction with others. And what they would give me back, that's how I feel about myself. I was thinking like if I based my feelings off of what other people thought of me and I saw myself, would I then, like looking into my own eyes, would I be able to, just come full circle with what self-worth means and what it, and just like get to another plateau in thinking about that. But it just fascinated me. I left out of there thinking like, what the fuck? I never thought about running into myself. Would I think I had bad breath? Would I think I had like a long neck or a regular neck or a kind of a 4 out of 10, kind of a mid-range, lower mid-range neck, medium rare? Because I don't have a super long neck. And I don't think a lot of people in my family, we're not real look-arounders. Some people have a long neck. When you see those people, they're looking for stuff and they can, look behind the sofa easier and they don't lose their wallet probably as much because they got that extra 2 inches to look and to gaze. They could see fruit easier if they're looking for fruits. But when you have that limited neck, man, you kind of, you're stuck on your own little bitty. It's not really a hilltop. You just kind of stuck on, you kind of just hanging out on your own cliffside. You can't do a lot when you got that limited neck. And I come from a long line of people with limited necks. But yeah, I was just wondering if you saw yourself and you looked in your own eyes, would you, I don't know, would your just whole world explode? Like, would you just know everything? Would I like myself? It just blew my mind. If there were infinite universes, and it just blew my mind, man. So I left out of there, I think, with a little bit more thinking, and I think that's kind of what Joe Rogan does for me, is he makes me think a little bit more, and he makes me think sometimes of uncomfortable things. He makes me think outside of like the confines of the comfortable confines of things that, these templates that I was raised in or raised around or just that I saw. It's kind of like when you see, remember when you got them colors when you were a child and your mother took you to the color shop and you got that 8 box. You got that box of 8 hitters, just that little fucking, that Roy G. Biv fiasco. You got that little 8-pack. That 8 ball, you got that 8 ball, and suddenly some dude shows up with that 64 box, and your fucking dick blew out of your ears. Remember that? Dude, I remember my nuts traveled up my body and looked out of my eye holes because I was just shook by the fact that some man suddenly had 56 more colors than I had. Some boy, not a man. They didn't have any men in our class, in disguise or anything. But that some boy, and it blew my mind. And suddenly you were doing different pictures and you were thinking different things. And you were like, fuck, magenta? I'm out here on magenta? And then everything changed, because then I would see maybe I would see somebody's shirt or hat, or I would see a woman's hat at church and be like, oh, that's a magenta hat, and suddenly you have more elements to put out into your template, to put out into your world. And that's kind of, I think, that's kind of what I left out of Joe Rogan's podcast thinking. I left out of there actually just thinking. He makes me think, and I think he makes a lot of, young men and women think. He's kind of this dope ass outer space male, Marine, kind of not, he's just everything. I don't know what he is, man. It's almost like if you took a whole timeline of existence and just took it like that and put it all into one person. It's like the past and, and the future and everything. And he's probably got moons. I bet he has moons going around him. I bet there's a moon way off in the distance that we don't even know about. That's just that, just that Rogan moon. But it was an honor, man. It's an honor to go in there. It's just an honor. I don't know. It made me feel, I just felt like accepted. Like he made me feel accepted, which for me is like a really big thing, like I think a lot of my life I don't feel that way. And so to go in and I don't even think these are things that he's, outwardly doing like on purpose. I think some of it's just his nature. I think in some ways he's like a little bit of like that big brother that like, I had my brother, but my brother, didn't live with us and like, and he, and he's had some, he's had some tough times, even though I really love my brother and I'm, I don't think I've ever been prouder of anybody in my whole life than him. But anyway, damn boy, this shit got me gleeking out my eyeballs, dude. You know what I'm saying? I'm fucking making salt water, dude. I'm like a 6th grade science experiment, zit. But yeah, I don't know. He just made me feel accepted and just, I don't know. But I'm just grateful, man. I'm just grateful to be in an environment where I feel inspired. I get to go on some of these other podcasts, Fighter and the Kid, and those guys make me laugh, man. And they make you laugh. I know it because I get out on the road and I see these, I see Fighter and the Kid listeners, and I'm a Fighter and the Kid listener, so I know it's like there's just this wild, we're part of their party. We're part of their party, and I guess I'm just grateful to just be, just to, I guess, I don't know. I'm just grateful, I guess, to feel accepted some. And maybe, that shouldn't matter to me. And I don't know if it matters. It's not a thing like I walk around thinking like those guys didn't accept me ever, but I don't know. It's just something that I feel. So anyway, man, there was a lot more to spending time over at Rogan's, and the conversation was kind of all over, and he thinks so fast, and it's hard for me to, he's got Lance Armstrong in his blood. So that dude's out there, he's in outer space, he's walking on the moon, he's juggling, he's playing saxophone. He's got all kinds of things going on inside of him. And, but it was fun, man. It was exciting and it was fun. And so if you wonder what it's like to kind of go in, because I get a lot of messages like, Theo, what's it like to go to Joe Rogan's? And, is it underground? Somebody asked me if it's underground, like it's a bunker. And that made me laugh so hard, man. No, actually, it's in a blimp. It is, we leave the earth and we go out there, and Eddie Bravo's the driver, and we just travel around. And so that way you get a firsthand look at some of the things that, some of the things that Joe is talking about. But yeah, man, I just had a blast. And I know that a lot of, people that are, fans of mine and friends of mine, and just being able to listen to me talk to somebody that we all admire, like Joe. I just know it was fun for a lot of us. So I was just glad to be there. What else? What else is going on? Sorry, dude, I got on these, I started dripping out the face, so that happens, whatever. That's life, dude. That's life. Well, whatever was inside me, I'm glad it's not in me anymore, bruh. Get out. Get out of me. If you got to come out my eyes, you must be something wild. That's what I think about, emotions and stuff. Because there's a lot of ways to get out of my body. You know, you can come out my ass, come out my mouth, ears. But there must be something. There must be something special about emotions if the way that they have to get out of your body is they have to crawl out of your eyes via water and salt. Which are the two, which I think, look, bottom line, water, salt, sunlight, that's what it all is out here. That's the bottom line. If you crack me open with a baseball bat, or if a couple of Vietnamese dudes kick me open, I bet that at the end of it all, you break me all the way down and I'm just water and salt and sunlight. I bet we all are. But there must be something special about emotion. If the way that it gets out of you, think about, dude, you have pores all over your body. Whatever those feelings are, when you feel something and it emotes out of your eyeballs via salt water. I mean, that's the dark arts right there. It's a beautiful dark art, but that is a dark art. It has to cry. Dude, it could come out of any of your pores, ears, eyes, butt, wiener. What if you cried out of your wiener? Imagine that, dude. Imagine, dude, some kid, he's just all pissed and his dad's about to come whoop him because he stole something. You know, maybe he stole a couple of, extra, cuts of cabbage or something. They were doing cabbage soup and he snuck up by the cutting board and just grabbed 2 little cuts of cabbage and ran off to his room and just fucking, rabbit faced those bitches into his belly. And now his daddy's pissed and he knows his daddy's about to whoop him. And he's just sitting there and he's got to cry. But how he does it, he just breaks his wiener out and just straight up just tears up right out into a beautiful stream, just a beautiful stream of sadness flying out of his wiener right out the window. I mean, could you imagine? But that's not how it works. You don't feel sad and then, and then tears come out of your butt. That's not how it works. There's something that happens inside of you when you feel something emotional where it climbs up out of your chest, through your throat, and comes out your the potholes to your soul, baby. It's pretty powerful, man. It's powerful stuff. So, and I know I get into my feelings sometimes, dude. I just didn't have them a lot growing up, and I think I'm just kind of grateful to have some of them now. But thank you guys so much for being here with me, man. And thanks for anybody that checked out being on there with Joe Rogan. Man, I just can't, it's just fun. Man, it just was fun, dude. It's fun. You go in there and they got this scary, they got like a mountain cat. I don't know what they killed, dude, but he kills everything. He could kill. I mean, dude, I wouldn't be surprised. Honestly, dude, I looked him in the eyes at one point and I asked him, I don't know if I asked him if he'd been outer space or if he, if he knows, if the government tried to get to him, and he said no to me. And I believe him, but I wouldn't be surprised if he has like a shuttle or something. Dude, he could be out there hunting fucking space bears. Would you be shocked? Would you be shocked if Rogan showed up in a damn space bear fur coat? I wouldn't be. I wouldn't be, man. I wouldn't be at all. And if we got to send anybody into space to do it, I'd send him. I'd send him 100%. He's kind of like the leader. But anyhow, man, yeah, I don't know why I'm just kind of rambling on that. I guess it's just on my mind and heart. And then a lot of people were asking me. Yeah, and it's like, but the best was, is it underground? That was the best. That was the best thing I've heard. So thank you to whoever sent that in to me. Today's episode is brought to you by Ridge Wallet. And Ridge Wallet is, a lot of times you see a man and you see their butt, and a woman too. And sometimes a hardy lesbian, they want to roll like this. And you see their butt, but you also see something on their butt. You're like, what is that on their butt? It's like their butt has just like something on it. And that's a wallet that's in their pants. But it's weird, And so now you got the new Ridge Wallet, and that's that front pocket carry. And this is that beautiful hitter. And the thing is you put your stuff in here and you carry it with you. You don't have this big old Galapagos turtle living on your ass cheek like you used to with that old wallet. And dude, think about what's in your wallet. You know, you got that picture of your girl you used to, you know, bust down on back in the day, 8th grade. You got headshots. You know, you got Olin Mills picture. What the fuck are you doing? You got them condoms you ain't never used, bruh. And you're married now. You've been married for a decade. Get rid of that junk. Get rid of that old specimen, that old petri dish you carrying around. That thing smells. Smell your wallet. Come on. So now you get that new front pocket carry. That's ridgewallet.com/Theo. It's 10% off. Look, man, go check it out. And I didn't like mine at first. I'll be honest with you. First 3 days, I was like, ugh. Since then, all 58 days since then, complete savagery, bruh. Enjoying my life being in my front pocket carry, bruh. What's in your carry? I want to remind you to check out My West Coast Buds. That's a new podcast, and that's by Joe Dimeo. And Joe is he's kind of a connoisseur. He's like an everyday man sort of connoisseur. He likes cannabis, coffee, he likes comedy, and he likes spirits. And I'm not talking ghosts, you know, I'm talking about alcohol. You know, he likes, unless a fucking Grim Reaper shows up with a shot of gin, then maybe he likes it all. And he is a unique character, and he owns a dispensary in Tigard, Oregon called Coral Cove. And Joe will talk to you about everything that he goes through up there and what it's like making whiskey, making jokes, a lot of how-to. It's kind of an inside baseball look at those industries, selling dope, doing all of that. So check it out. We'll have the link below, and that's My West Coast Buds. What else is going on, man? Let's get into some other things. I'll tell you about something. They had that school shooting. I know people don't like thinking about it, but I was thinking about more like, you know, and God bless everybody, and that, you know, if you have a family member or anything that's, you know, had to deal with that or any of these, it's becoming such a commonplace thing. And I was talking to one of our producers, Nick, earlier. And and Nick's a beautiful young man. He might have been a premature baby, but you know, that's, you know, he could, and I don't know if you ever shake being a premature baby, but I think he's mastered as well as any man could. He's a, you know, handsome young fella. And anyhow, what happened, I was talking to him and he was saying, well, you know, once something happened, cause it's like, why does this keep happening? You know, why does this keep happening? And one of the things is once something happens the first time, then it happens more. Like, and the more I think about it, like, yes, I think it has a great deal to do with mental health. You know, yes, I think that these high profile, you know, fast action assault rifles and shit, I think that I don't know if we need those. I've never seen a hunter have like 1,100 deer running at him, you know, with pistols on their hoofs. You know, like, you know, you don't have 70 raccoons, you know, coming down on parachutes. You know, you don't have any, you know, on them raccoon shoots just dropping down, and you got to mow them all out. We don't have that. So it's like, do we need that? You know, I go back to the old days. So you got to load and show. And that seems more, you know, that seems more fair. But, you know, but anyway, our producer, Nick, I was talking to him, he was saying, you know, I think it's because once it happens once, then other people see it. And kids do what caused the most harm, I guess. A sick anyone will think that way. You know, I think you didn't see it a lot in the past because it hadn't been done yet. You know, you don't see somebody learn to juggle or try juggling until somebody else, you know, been working with magic balls in the air. And once it's done that first time, then you see more of it. And so I think that has a lot to do with it. Why does this keep happening? Because it's happened once. And people see the effect, and they see, you know, you have a kid that's probably somewhere inside of himself is mentally broken or so broken, and he just, you know, and the devil gets him, and he wants to do bad, and he wants to, you know, he doesn't see any difference in making other people outside of him feel the pain that he feels inside of himself. He can't differentiate between if that's okay or if that's not okay. Or maybe he just thinks it is okay. You know, maybe he thinks or I hurt so bad that everyone should hurt. And so he busts down like that. But yeah, I don't think we need these high-powered weapons. What? Or also, how about that little liaison period from when you want the weapon to when you get the weapon? How about that? Let's give a little more time. Look, there's no reason that I need a passport sometimes immediately. I get that. You need that passport within 3 days. You got a surprise trip. You're leaving. But I can't think of a super good reason that I need an AR-15 by Thursday. Can't think of one. And if I do have a reason, there's nothing logical as to why that couldn't wait another week. So it's just horrific and it's tragic. And, you know, young people are mimics and they do what they see. You know, they little monkeys. Young people are little monkeys and they do what they see. And so I didn't mean to bring it down by talking about that stuff, but I know down there in Texas, we have a lot of listeners in Texas, and you know, and Texas is one of my favorite states. I mean, Texas is the kind of state where you show up and you do your work and you live your life, and you show respect and other people show respect, and that's how life is. And I've always loved Texas. And it's just a tragedy to see some of this kind of stuff just continue to happen. But I've said before, we should have class. There should be a class. I don't give a fuck about social studies. I don't give a shit about spelling. There should be classes in school where you learn to express your feelings and let other people express their feelings, and how you work together on that. And how you can just know if you are talking to a friend, if they're okay or not. Or how if you're not okay, you could try to share some of that shit, man. And I know some of this stuff might sound like weakness and everything, but I don't think it is. I think it's the toughest thing you can do. Is, you know, teach young people how to be vulnerable and help them learn. Cause fuck, dude, I got to do this. I'm in these programs now, and I'm doing this shit now, and I'm 38, bro. I'm a straight up adult. You know, you want to catch me in 40 years, bro? You can catch me in the G yard, son. I'll be 6 feet down. A couple brothers throwing dirt on me, shoveling out. You know, I'll be trying to crawl through the dirt, just bones only, trying to catch a little bit of, you know, little bit of marrow out of some maybe sweet gal that's about, you know, a couple plots over. Because, you know, I'm going to be that dark artist when I'm in the dirt. You know what I'm saying? Just because I'm in the grave doesn't mean I'm not going to be, you know, trying to get out there and get a little bit of Cossacks or a little bit of, you know, tailbone, or not tailbone, but is there any bones in the vagina? You know what I'm saying? I don't think vagina bone. What is it? Damn, I don't know, dude. I think I felt a bone down there or something before. Not like but you know, I think there's, what's holding the vagina up? Some kind of bone? Whatever that is, boy, you know, I'll be, you know, peeking out of ant farms and stuff. Once I'm buried, I'm not done. And I'm not going to be a ghost, boy. I'm going to be that underground rattler. You know, I'm going to be down there just sifting through sand face first. Can you believe that's the most gangster thing about snakes, dude? They go face fucking first through the dirt. What? Dude, I lose my shit if I walk into a cobweb. A snake do face first forever, wherever they go. They do not have that fear in them. They are the devil's phalanges, and you know that. And I know some people like them and stuff like that, but every now and then a snake chokes out an old lady in Tucson. You know, that's once a month. A snake will put a senior citizen into a hard scarf. A snake will just drop that hard scarf on a senior citizen, and next thing you know, they wake up in heaven. So a snake is a very dangerous animal. What else? What else is going on, man? I'm still on Paleo's diet, and dude, it's getting easier. It's getting easier, and I feel better. And, you know, I talked about it last week, but I don't have any body gas, dude. Dude, I could count on 2 fingers the number of times that I've had body gas. And that's been truly beautiful. Because look, dude, I had gas for years, to be honest with you, probably most of my life. And it's fun. I get it. Sometimes, changing the whole environment of a room with a secret weapon is exciting. I'm not going to say that shit isn't exciting, dude. It's like having David Blaine fucking pop up out of your butt. Suddenly everybody doesn't know what the hell stinks or who did it. It's like Agatha Christie is straight up living in your asshole, bro. That's straight up, that's beautiful, making mysteries like that. Just making air mysteries. But it's nice to not have that. It's nice to not be chatting with somebody and you can't even think because, dude, at a certain point, and I know this is probably a little grotesque and below some people's education level. And if it is, then fucking take a hike because I'm smart too. But maybe I'm just not talking about, glacier melt right now. Maybe I'm not talking about, birds, how long birds' beaks are, or the NASDAQ. Maybe I'm just talking about regular life. But it's crazy, dude. I noticed this for me. When I used to have body gas a lot, if I had in your stomach a fart, we'll call it a fart because I don't know if they have a better term for it yet. But a fart it almost starts to develop a brain a little bit because you're like, damn, this thing, it's like thinking because you got it. You got it. Nobody knows you got it. And it starts to know it got you at some point. When it gets close to that cliff, it starts to know that it's in control. And you start to feel it think a little bit. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about fart think. And I think that's a real condition. I think that's a real condition for the future. What else is happening, man? What else can we talk about? Oh, look, man, a lot of things have happened. We had a lot of beautiful voicemails that came in. And I'm going to get to those, some of those. We'll go through them. We'll keep talking about other stuff. It was just a crazy week, getting to go in and talk with Joe and just, just be around somebody that I just look up to and that I watch on stage and that, he inspires me sometimes to be fearless and to say what I think. And especially in Hollywood, this place doesn't want you saying what you think. It's like, sometimes I'm happy to be here and I want to work in this industry, but it's, it's crazy to me. I just even look at like how Hollywood is suddenly like, suddenly it's like, so it's all about diversity, but 2 years ago, black people had to beg to be on the Academy Awards, and that's not the kind of, I don't know. I just don't trust this industry sometimes. And maybe that's just business. And I need to ball up a little bit. And that's fine. Look, I'm out here to learn. I don't know. I'm out here to learn. Let's take this call that came in about their weekend. Every week you can call and leave a voicemail on the hotline. The hotline is 985-664-9503. And that hotline mostly has all types of things people calling. And look, I can't even tell you how many calls we get. A lot. And that doesn't mean that we don't care. It's just hard to sometimes get back to all of them. Some of them are people, yerking off and, there's a couple of voicemails, people fucking couples and men only and everything happening. Some lady's training, I don't want to say parakeets, but it sounds like parakeets, or she has twins with like real high pitched voices or something that are, I don't know if they're eating seed or something. It sounds hella sketchy, bro. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff on there. It's just not even real stuff, but we go through it all, and some things we can get to and some things we can't. If you call and left a voicemail, don't feel bad. It's not a rejection. It's just, right now it didn't fit into the episode, or maybe we'll do it in the future, or maybe call back at some other time. But thank you for everybody that's called or texted. What do I want to do? Oh, I want to play. Every week you can call and let me know if you had a great weekend or a bad weekend. Let us know how it was. And each we'll play some every week, and we'll put a contest winner at the end of each month for this past week and how it was, great, bad, whatever. Here's a weekend story that came in right here.
Hey, what's up, Theo? I'm a college student. I'm studying biology, and I've been supporting myself by working a third shift at a gas station, kind of in the ghetto of the city my college is in.
Dang, dude. Good luck, man. That sounds like a place where people get murdered a lot. No offense. And I hope and I hope everything's good with you, especially since you're still in college. Biology, man. That biology was crazy, dude. Remember biology? You didn't know anything. Next thing you know, you're cutting into a frog. You know what I'm saying? Next thing you're running around with a frog heart on your fingertips and showing it to the ladies. Every answer in biology, mitochondria. That was the answer on every test. It was all mitochondria. Sometimes it was cytoplasm. Boom. If you are in 7th grade and you are still looking for answers, that's the answer to everyone. Thank you for calling, young brother. Onward.
And it's usually all right, but last night about 6 guys came in, and they just bought a gas can and put like 2 gallons of gasoline in it, and they seemed really calm, real chill, man. Oh,
and that's sketchy, man. When you show up and you just get that gas can, gas only, that means you're out of gas, or that's arson. And a lot of times when arson happens, that's either insurance money or somebody has like a sleeping family member or something, and they're about to change the game, and they're about to, really just change it all and maybe end up on Dateline. Let's hear more.
Nice guys when they left, but they came back like 2 hours later, just high as fuck, probably on meth. They were freaking out.
Probably on meth or probably on gas, dude. I remember on Halloween one time we ate some mushrooms, some of them beautiful little fucking land creatures. And one of my buddies, Todd, tried to drink some gasoline and had to go actually to the, I guess he went to the emergency room. But let's hear more.
And they were trying to return the gas can because it was like $12, but the store policy is you can't return gas cans once there's been gas in them. So they were like yelling at me and talking all at once, saying they were going to stab me if I didn't and cut my head off and shit. And
damn, cut your head off, bro. That's a Greyhound bus move, bro. That's a finishing move on the Greyhound bus version of Mortal Kombat. And I don't know what the cheat code is to open that up, but let's hear more.
I was a Marine out of high school, so I'm not afraid of any man, but, 6 make me really concerned.
Semper Fi. Do you hear that confidence in that man's voice right there? Dude, that's the kind of stuff that I wish I had, man. Just hearing you say that, I'm a Marine, so I'm not worried about any man. But 6 of them make me concerned. That's gangster, dude. That's awesome, man. Thanks for your service. I got to, I was fortunate enough to get to go do some tours of just as a comedian. And we went to, I think I maybe did 5 or 6, trips overseas. And you go on those bases, boy, and look, Navy does their thing, Air Force does their thing, Army does their thing. But when the Marines show up, they go first. Marines go first, man. And it's just, impressive group. Let's hear more, bro. This sounds like it's not going well, bro. Those dudes want that $12 back. I mean, you got that policy. Let's hear more. No gas. Once you got gas in the can, that's yo can.
They ended up yelling at me for the gas can for a little bit more, and they bought like $400 of random gas station food shit and like a lot of lottery tickets. A fuck ton of them. And they ended up leaving on their own. Oh,
lottery tickets. Yeah, if you're huffing gas, bro, you'll definitely, you'll take a chance to win $500,000, dude, by just scratching on something. Because if you're huffing gas, you usually used to scratching your skin. You'll scratch your own chest hair off. You'll have just a little, kind of bloody ball of fur and hair and skin. But, so yeah, lottery tickets, I mean, that's a methamphetamine. I mean, that's everything. That's a full-time job for a methamphetamine addict because they got the itch in them naturally, and now they're putting it to work for that chance at $50,000 paid over 100 weeks. Let's hear more.
Spent like $400, $500 on them, and then they left, told me I was a fuck, and that was my weekend.
They left and told you were a fuck. That's hilarious, bro. Well, look, man, I commend you, dude, working in the, in a tough neighborhood in the ghetto. I mean, I don't know if it's the ghetto. You said it's a shady neighborhood, but I commend you, dude, because that's a tough area a lot of times. People out there, eating honey buns and drinking fucking diesel. You get a couple of, young soldiers hopped up on some 91 octane, and next thing you know, they want a fucking fist fight and you just trying to mop. You just trying to fucking, you could just you got a brain, you just had a brain freeze because you're on your 9th slushy and you back there brain freezing trying to fucking push that hot mop around. And these Muppets are straight up, they come in all jawed up. One of them just lit a cigarette, forgot he's drinking gas, and now he's one of the flaming lips, and shit gets fiasco time, and everybody wants Fritos. Dude, it's savage out there, man, and I commend you for working on the front lines. That's the front lines of American war right there. The man that's working overnight, trying to make it through school, trying to learn about biology, and just fending off straight fucking night Muppets. Trying to get that $12 back. Gang, gang, baby. Take care of yourself out there. Thanks for calling. I appreciate that, man. I remember, did I ever work at a gas station? No, one time my buddy got sick and he worked at a gas station and he's like, dude, I need you to take my shift. And I'd never worked there. And I went and I did it, man. I think I stole about $30, dude. And I stole almost so many Otis Spunkmeyer cookies, dude. I fucking was sick. In the morning, dude, come sunrise, I was sick to my stomach. But that was fun. Those are the good old days. Let's take another call, man. What do we got here? Onward.
Hi, this is Ellen calling in from Virginia Beach, and this is some advice for Nicole who's dealing with an alcoholic boyfriend.
Oh yeah, we had we got a response from last week's call. This is for Nicole dealing with an alcoholic boyfriend. She called at the end of last week's episode.
My name is Nicole. I'm 34. My boyfriend is 40, and he's struggling really hard with alcoholism.
Let's hear more. Thanks for calling, Ellen.
Nicole, you're in a life or death situation right now, and this is what you need to do. You need to get on the phone, and you need to find a place where you can take your boyfriend where he can go through a medical detox. If he tries to do it by himself, he can have seizures. He can die from alcohol poisoning. He cannot do this alone. He needs a medical professional. And with that being said, he also needs to get to an AA meeting as soon as possible. There are intergroup numbers all over the country that you can call. And there are also apps where you can find the closest meeting to you. Have him get a sponsor, have him get the big book, have him do 90 meetings in 90 days, and get serious, get committed about your future with him if you still think that there is one. And let me tell you something. I speak from experience. I was living in Las Vegas for almost 3 years.
Ooh, that sounds hellish right there, boy. Las Vegas, dude, anything could happen out there. You put it all on the table. They got women wearing those hats with the feathers on them. You can get fucking, you're like peacocks trying to fuck you because they think, it's false advertising you're running around with on your dome. They got escorts, cocaine, bruh. And the cocaine's good because there's no humidity in the air. Cocaine will keep, let me tell you that. That shit will keep out on a counter as long as the humidity's down. And you keep the air conditioner off and no ceiling fans, boy. Great way to end a cocaine party is somebody just fucking flipping on the fan switch. But let's hear a little more advice. Thank you for calling in about this, Ellen.
3 years with a fighter pilot, and he was also a poker professional. And I had to leave. I left the relationship. It was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. To this day, I still cry about it. But I look back on it now, and I just think about where would I have been if I'd have stayed with him? And
that's the truth. You got to think about yourself long term there. She's calling with Laura had some issues last week. And look, Ellen, I know you're telling her you need to get this, your man to a meeting and you need to get him to a professional. He needs to get himself. And I'm not discrediting what you're saying. These are all great suggestions, Ellen, especially from a woman that's been there. But he needs to get himself, and she needs to get herself some help. She needs to get to some Al-Anon meetings, or she needs to get in a better place where, there's codependency meetings. And these are suggestions. Look, I'm not a lady. I never had a man that, loved me and would just also maybe took advantage of my love because he wanted to do dope and not take care of himself. I never had that. But I know that you can't, people will have to want to help themselves, and that you can only help so much. And when Nicole called in, she sounded really at her wit's end. So, but look, you heard it from another lady. Nicole, you got to start taking care of yourself and get that man in a detox, and he needs to take care of himself. Because if one of y'all ain't taking care of yourselves, then what's y'all going to do? Neither one of y'all's taking care of yourselves. You both going to figure it out? Fuck that. Fuck that. I'll be honest with you. Because look, I'll tell you what happened. I saw two mentally challenged people making out one time at a stoplight. Outdoors, not in a vehicle. And I called the police. And I regret it sometimes, but I could tell, man, I've spent time, dude. You know, one of my best friends growing up had Down syndrome. I've spent time around, I've spent people that are mentally lit, some of God's favorites. I've been around, and some of them will fuck. Some of them want to party. They're just like us. They got that limbic system just like us. They got, the dirty, dark arts just dangling off the base of their spine and the base of their brain, that little brain stem, that thing's lit up with just, eggplant emojis and, little umbrellas with semen emojis hitting the top of them. And so they want to party just like us. And I could tell that these two at this stoplight they were thinking about sex. And so I called the police, and the lady said, well, why? What is this about? And I said, well, if those two people make a child, the chances of that child being comfortable and well in its own skin, probably not super great. And I know that's me jumping to conclusions. That might be me playing a little bit of, moderator in the universe. But it's just like, if they can't help themselves, if they're not in a place where they can be super well themselves, then they can only do so much together, those two people at that stoplight. And they can kiss and hug and pleasure each other and that kind of thing. But when it comes to, we're going to start something new together, we're going to start a small business, or we're going to make a child, I don't know. I don't know if that's the best move. And that's just where I see you at a little bit, Laura. And thank you, Ellen, for calling in and giving some suggestions to her. This is the first time we've ever had it. We have a video call that came in, and this is on Live Raise, and the link will be in our information below. And this is via their fan line. And Saturday I did a chat on Live Raise, and the cool thing about Live Raise is you can submit questions, video questions. So you can submit a question on there. When I'm on live, you can submit a question. It goes to the fan line. It's a video question where you can ask whatever you want, and then we can take those questions and we can put them onto the show. So I'll be going on next Saturday again, and you'll be able to get on there and submit video questions and get them onto the show. And we have our first one ever. And let's get to it right here. Here we go. You'll be able to hear it on the audio, and you'll be able to see it on YouTube. This is our first ever Live Raise video question via their fan line. Here we go.
Hey, Theo, longtime fan. First.
Wow. And look, some of you guys heard that voice. You might think this man is a beautiful urban gentleman. That beautiful mahogany superhero. It's not. This boy, man, he looks like Chef Boyardee's kind of grandson a little bit. That, used to sell grams, but also makes a mean fucking ratatouille. You know what I'm saying? This boy looks like he looks like the real deal. Let's hear it. Here we go.
Hey, Theo, longtime fan, first time caller.
God, what did he eat? Detroit, man. This dude, he has so much soul. He has so much sultry soul in his voice, man. Yeah, let's hear more.
I'm just wondering, what's the right amount of shrooms to take when you go and see Joey Diaz? I just saw him. I dropped an eighth.
Wow. Man, I'll say this. Joey Diaz is there's nothing like him. It's like getting to be in the middle of a tornado, but the tornado is made out of joy and laughter and fun. and you know that Joey's heart is so good that no matter what he says, that it's edgy and fun and whatever, and you know it's real to him, but you know that his heart is good. So you know that he's joking. And it just hits you at a core of what's wrong with a lot of our world today, is that everybody just goes on what people say but nobody's at all looking at where people's hearts are at. And you can tell it immediately. You could tell where people's hearts are. It's the easiest thing to tell. You know, and Coco Diaz's heart it's in the right spot, baby. I mean, it's almost like, who's that John Wilkes Booth or something? Who's that famous designer? Guy that does buildings. Who draws buildings? Frank Lloyd Webber. It's almost like Frank Lloyd Webber designed exactly where to put Coco Diaz's heart. So you know everything in there is fun because you know he's coming from a place of good. And so no matter what he says, it's fun, and it's fun for everybody. And man, taking shrooms on it, whoo, I don't know. But you said, bro, you had fun, man. You guys got to see this guy. If you look at him on the YouTube, man, he's a beautiful guy. This guy's beautiful, and he went in there shroomed up. This sultry gentleman right here, he went in there shroomed up and got it done. I couldn't take any, but I'm glad you did, man. I'm glad you went there. I bet it's a beautiful way to see Diaz. Because it's almost like, when you're on mushrooms, you want to see something natural. You want to see something real that came out of the universe. You want to see something special. And Joey Diaz is the only comedian ever. I was talking with Joe Rogan about this the other day. The only comedian ever where I found myself standing out of my seat, cheering and laughing at the same time. Like it's fucking 1910 and a warship with my dad just came back to the shore in San Diego. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'd never done anything like that in my life. Out of my seat, cheering. What? And I was doing that, and I was living like that because he has a special gift. And Joe Rogan says this a lot. It's like, what is people's intention? That's what matters. What is somebody's intention? Because that's what's killing comedy. And the truth is, I don't think things are killing it anymore. I think you have guys like, you have guys who are funny with good hearts, who are out there fighting every day for comedy to be based on intention. And I think that it's coming back around. And that's why I follow, guys that I follow. And that's why I look up to guys that I look up to, because they're pioneers. This old shit of being offended by everything, that shit is done, bro. You want to live there? Then you choose to live there. That's a choice. Oh, somebody can't say this. People can say whatever they want. What's their intention? Look, you want to use a racial slur? Go use it, but go use it around that race. See how that works out for you. Dude, I grew up in the South, man. You want to drop an N-bomb around somebody that might have a different skin tone than you? You're going to learn really fast that that's not a comfortable choice. Because people know people's intention. Intention, man, that's what, and that's where I'm trying to live. And that's where these guys live, man. So Coco Diaz, I don't care if you saw him and you were on your last leg. I don't care if you out there, drinking bone marrow out of a can because you might not make it. Any condition you see him in, that's a beautiful condition. But that 1/8, boy, whoo. That sounds good, bruh. That's what I like about them mushrooms, boy. When I used to eat them mushrooms, dude, you start fucking looking for yourself. And that's crazy because you are yourself. And that's a beautiful treat. Let's go to another call that came in. Thank you guys for calling. And thank you for that live raised fan line question. You can do those now. And so we just want to add another element to the YouTube where people can see what's going on. And that's live raised. You can check out their app, check them out through Instagram, and we'll have the link below. And that way on Saturday when I go live, I'll let you know when I'm doing that. I'll put it in my Instagram story. You can jump on there and submit a question. And I won't answer it then, but I will answer it on next Monday's episode. Here we go. Another follow-up call from last week's episode of this past weekend.
Yeah, this is Kevin from New Jersey calling about the dude who his sister, 19-year-old's banging the 39-year-old dude.
Yep. We had that call last week. The gentleman called. His sister was 19 and dating a 39-year-old.
So my sister is 19, and her boyfriend is 39 years old.
Wow. Onward?
I think for sure he needs to beat his ass. He needs to put a stop to that. That's definitely the dark arts. And just the fact he's got to call the hotline and ask for suggestions is kind of questionable, but...
Yeah, yeah. You would think for most people it is questionable, you know? Let's hear more, Kevin.
Anyway, that's it. Thanks, man.
You bet, man. Thanks for calling, bro. And that's how they handle it over there in New Jersey. That dude's doing that. You got to tighten that ass up on that dude. 39-year-old, you know, and he's staying up at night and just licking the freckles off of your 19-year-old sister's neck. Dude, I'd beat those freckles out of that man. I think I would, but then look. I look at my own life and I'm like, well, shit. My mother was 32 when I was born. My father was 70. So what is that? Nope, somebody should have probably whooped somebody's ass there, but then I don't even exist. You know, there's different sides to it. There's different worlds. And look, I don't think it was right, probably what my parents did, you know. I mean, I think my father was probably looking to, you know, create just more of a legacy, anything to keep him living, to feel like he was living more. And being virile as a senior, you know, when you spraying out and that spray is growing up and going to kindergarten, you know, that's got to make you feel, you know, voracious, and you can keep moving forward. But thank you for calling, Kevin. And a shout out to everybody in Jersey, dude. People always look down on New Jersey for different types of shit, man. Fuck that. Jersey's the realest, bruh. You can't even get real in Manhattan anymore. You can't get mugged in Manhattan. Go on. Even the pigeons, bruh. All the dopest pigeons are the ones that'll shit on you. They're all out in Queens now. They've been evicted. All the best pigeons that, you know, them carrier pigeons, every now and then you see a pigeon with a fucking gram of blow in its mouth. You know, one of them little freaking short baggies. You can't even see that in Manhattan anymore. That shit, so it's the elites. Elites only. That's what they should call Manhattan. You can't find you can't find a poor person in Manhattan. That's for rich only, bruh. You can come visit. You know, you could ride the big bus through the middle, that double decker. But if you want to, you can't get shit on by a real bird anymore. You can't even get stabbed in Manhattan. Dude, when I was the first time I went to New York, dude, I dropped a dildo in a damn bodega. And, you know, and shit got weird after that or whatever, before that. But that was Manhattan. You know, they had a dude jumped off a building back in the day when I was there. And they had a senior citizen lady out there with this skirt on. And she goes, "Did you see it?" And I'm like, "Did I see the guy?" She goes, "Did you see it?" I'm like, did I see what? The guy jump off the building? And then she straight up showed me that bird holster, bruh. This lady just showed me her crotch out of the blue. And I was like, what? And that was New York. That was Manhattan. Now you want to get real, you better go into the boroughs. You better go in Brooklyn. That shit, it's real, but is it? You can't find any newsies out there. Where the newsies at? They're all out in Queens now. Bronx. Fat Joe country. They're all out in Hasbrook Heights. They're out there. They're out there in New Jersey. That's where they're at. All them real boys moving out. It's for the elites, bruh. Is it? Maybe I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Have you thought about that? Think about that as well. All right, let's get to another call here. Here we go.
Hey, what's going on, Theo? This is Rico here from Downey, California.
What's up, Rico, out there in Downey? And I've been out there by Downey before. I ran out of gas out there one time. And man, this is or I think it could have honestly was one of those people at a service station. It could have been a man, could have been a woman. They were real, they had a lot of dirt and, smog had really heavily affected by the smog in their hair and everything and pores. So anyhow, a man or woman tried to climb in my sunroof, dude. And I was fending them out. And then all they wanted was a hit of my big gulp. So I fucking gave, this person a hit of that big gulp. And then they gave it back to me. And then I'm like, well, what the fuck? I don't want it anymore. So I rolled down the window and gave it to him full. And so that's, I think, a lot of time a trick sometimes of, of these, I guess these are just kind of soda pop spies, really, because they spy and they see somebody hitting a big gulp and they come in through the sunroof. And then they get that sip and then they know you're not going to want the rest of it. But anyhow, I got taken advantage of. Thank you for calling, Rico. Onward.
Just listening, I wanted to call in about our old boy who has a 19-year-old sister. Fuck, dating that, 39, 35-year-old man. I tell you what, man, I got a sister, she's almost 17 years old. And if I found out, she was dating some guy that was 39, I'd call him up. Hey, man, I need to see you, and we need to have a face-to-face, a man-to-man conversation.
There you go, right there. Now, that's a good point. That's a really good point. And this makes me think, too, even back to my own existence. My mother was 32, so that's different. This is a 19-year-old. My mother was 32, making at least 32-year-old female choices. Let's hear more.
And when he met me to have that conversation, look, I'm 23 years old. I meet him up. I tell him, hey, man, I'm trying my best. Everything in my body tells me to whip your ass right here, right now. Everything in my body wants to put a little jujitsu on your neck and snap that shit, brother.
Damn, boy. They change it, man. They switching up vertebrae, dude. Rico's about to play Jenga with somebody's vertebrae over there. Let's hear more.
Tell him, look, man, she's not even out of her teens yet, bro. Not even out of her teens yet. And you got some fucking old, saggy, bald, wrinkly fucking body, no hair, because he's losing it all, motherfucker, hollering at your little sister? No way. Tell him he'd never be welcome into the family. Don't tell him never to be comfortable around me. Don't ever be comfortable around me. And it's got to end. And you can't control her, and you can't control him. But let him know he will never be welcome in that family. In that family.
Wow. There you go. And I love that line that you said, you never be comfortable around me. Oh, that's a savage line right there. And that's a respect to a level of respect. And it's also showing up and it's showing respect. You're not whipping the dude's ass, but you're letting him know point blank, you do not ever be comfortable around me. And that brings me back, my sister and my brother used to live together for a little while. And man, my sister dated all kind of wild cats. And I think that just in our family, we've dated, we don't date well. And one time a man showed up and honked the horn. This man my sister was dating. And boy, my brother ran out there and he told that man to get the fuck out of there. He said, you're going to come and pick my sister up for a date? You're going to come in and you're going to come to the door and you're going to knock. And that was, that's the kind of thing that needs to happen. That's the kind of thing that needs to be done. As men, we have to, we have to embrace our sisters and we have to hold them up. We have to get out of our own lives sometimes, out of what's going on with us, and hold men that they spend time with accountable. Because my sister got she got really, abused and stuff like this by men that she dated. And I don't know. I don't know if I'm not trying to put her story out there or anything like that. Maybe she'll come on one day, but she got, and this happens to a lot of women out there. But, and I didn't know my sister then, we weren't close, but, as men, we have to do that. Sometimes we want to not get along with our sister, and that shit's fine. You can not get along with our sister. This is what I'm learning. But at the same time, I can still be a brother. I can still be a brother. You know, I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and he was saying that his father wasn't good to him. He goes, but just because my father wasn't good to me doesn't mean that I couldn't be a good son to him, because I still have my own responsibilities. Because then years later, my father might leave the earth or whatever, and I'm sitting there thinking, wow, he was never good to me. And also I'm thinking, wow, I was never good to him. And sure, you could be like, oh, well, you know, you weren't good to him because he wasn't good to you. But that's where we all fuck up, or that's where I fuck up anyway. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said we all, because I don't know. I don't know other people's lives, but I know that's where I fuck up. When I think that because somebody did something to me, then I should do it to them. But no, what I do is who I am. And sometimes you show somebody enough love, you know, you show them what's real, and that's how they learn it. You think if somebody's a dick to you, you're a dick back to them, they're going to fucking learn anything else than being a dick? Sure, you got to be the bigger person, but that's, you know, I don't know, man. It's just, I don't mean to go, I don't know. I'm just like, I think about that shit with the president a lot, with Trump. You know, like, I think, I've never been a political man. You know, I think I've never trusted any of these politics. I think we have some of the same problems, and I think the problems are us. I think the problems are humans. I think we're getting in this world right now where there's a lot of humans that don't want to they're not even doing anything. Some people ain't doing nothing. And you got other people that want to do something, that want to move, that want to do stuff. And I think sometimes it's like, but you have these networks and these people that just hate Donald Trump so much. I'm like, what are you teaching this man? What are you teaching him? And I don't hate him. You know, I think he's an egomaniac. I think all politicians are. There's no way you get into that. I don't think with having, first of all, you have to have a big ego. And that can be okay. But that can also be extremely fucking dangerous, bro. The ego, it reminds me of that volcano in Hawaii. That thing's always trying to sneak lava out the side. You know, you think there's nothing that scares me more than ego. It scares me every day I wake up. Scared that my brain is going to trick me into thinking certain things about myself that are not going to be good for me. But I think that about, you know, it's just like how so much hatred. Like, who's solving anything with all that shit? All of that shit, man. You know, it's just like, does anybody really hate somebody as much as all these news are? It's just like, really? Go to fucking work. None of these politicians have ever affected my life. Ever. Ever. I never even seen any of them. I don't think. I thought I saw one of them one time at the airport. I don't know who it was. Onward. What else, man? Thanks for calling, Rico. Let's hear a little, let's take another call here. This is Dalton.
Hey, Theo. It's Dalton from Virginia.
Wow, that's a wild name, Dalton, bro. I never heard of it before. And that's a risky name, too, if somebody call you Dolt, you know, because that don't mean, you know, that means not super, you know, keen to what's happening. But whatever, bro. Fuck yeah. That's a great name, dude, because now you're changing that shit. You know? That's like, you know, saying my name's Skimpy. And people are like, are you Skimpy? You're like, no, baby, I'm fucking thick. You're like, oh, okay. So Skimpy's doing something different with it all. Let's hear more, Dolt.
This is in response to The Secret, the gentleman who wrote in.
I'm a 31-year-old secret. At the time I was conceived, my gay mother was doing coke with my birth father. She wanted a kid. He was married with kids already, but my mother promised him that I'd be kept a secret. 31 years later, still a secret. Would you seek these people out if you were me?
But on to that, I just wanted to share a little quick personal thing that happened, part of my family. Not real close to my family, but I just know the story. My dad's brother married 20, 30 some years, several, 3, 4 kids. One day got a knock at their door, and it was a lady, about 28 years old, who was like, I think you might be my father. And so just showed up out of nowhere. They sat down and kind of went through the timeline, and, sure enough, we had been traveling at some point, however, 28 some years ago, and had gotten a lady pregnant over, I guess, in Japan or something like that.
Damn. That's wild, man. And look, I'll be honest, it would be hard to go to Japan and probably not try to bust a nut somewhere. Think about that. I mean, I remember being young and I was traveling around a good bit, and I would want to bust nuts on all these continents, And I remember one night falling asleep thinking, I'm gonna bust a nut on all 40 fucking continents. And then I get up in the morning and there's only 7 continents or 9. And I'm like, wow. I was just gonna be jerking off in like 31 other places for no reason. I mean, that would have been crazy. You're out in fucking Guam beating off and people are like, what are you doing? You're like, I'm settling this land. I got a score to settle with Earth. So, but that, that's something impressive, man. That's something impressive, that she just showed up. That had to be a long fucking lunch, boy. What if your dad had just settled down to a sandwich? He made himself his favorite sandwich. The game is on. His fucking favorite game. And then he gets that doorbell ring. He opens it, and it's somebody that in his eyes and in his soul, he knows immediately, man, I know her from somewhere, even if he's never met her. And bam, bruh, you got a bonus child. That's crazy. That's crazy. I had a girl reach out to me on Facebook a few years ago, 2 years ago, and she said that we could be half siblings. And we talked on the phone once, and I might try to look her back up, and I've never met her. And maybe she would actually come on here. That'd be a neat guest to have. That would be a super neat guest. But Dalton, let's hear a little bit more. Here we go.
However, 28 some years ago, and had gotten a lady pregnant over, I guess, in Japan or something like that. But it messed things up for a little bit. People were a little weird for maybe a day or two. But that's not that long if you think about it. And she's a great part of the family now. I know they have her over all the time. She has a kid too that they treat, just like one of the grandkids from the beginning. It's a fantastic thing now. I know that's a little bit different of a situation, but maybe that experience helped you guys out. I guess you really just never know until you do something about it.
Yeah. That's a great point, man. Look, and people, I think, there's that hiccup in the beginning, usually with most things, but then most people want to love. Most people want other people in their life. I think about sometimes I would give anything to have like a brother or a sister that was really young, like a 9-year-old. So, one that was a 9-year-old right now. Just to see them be alive and just for me to have that experience and watch them be a human and become a human. And, I see it some with my nieces and nephews, and that's fine. But it would be really neat to have it as like a brother or a sister, a younger child where I could be a sibling to them in some facet, in a part of their life in some way. Man, that would be, there's just such a blessing, I think, in having children and creating that thing. And you don't even realize, I think, when you create a family, you don't even realize probably a lot of the gifts that you're going to create moments that those siblings are going to have between each other that you can't even fathom. You won't even be there to witness, but there'll be beautiful moments. And that's awesome that, somebody showed up at the door. That's that long knock. And you think it's a pizza delivery, and damn, that's that DNA delivery. Is that's DNA Giorno, bruh. That's at the door, bruh, and that's forever, and that's family, bruh. You got an extra large straight up family, dude. Gang, bruh. Where them 2-liter colas at? Remember that? They used to get you on that shit. Pizza Hut. No, Domino's. You'd be like, we got that 2-liter soda. Bro, I remember this one dude, one time we ordered a bunch of pizza to this party, and he came out, he'd been drinking, delivering pizzas, and he skirted off the road because the road was fucking super dangerous. It wasn't even a road. It was just like a place where people would try to drive down it and basically just mostly almost die, and sometimes really die. And this dude slipped off into the woods. Next thing you know, he's at the door, and he's bleeding and stuff like that, and a couple people kept talking to him at the front door, and calling 911 and stuff, and then some other people went around to his car, and got the pizzas out. He had like 9 pizzas because this dude was, you know, back in the day, you would leave once and you might be out there delivering for 4 hours. And he also had a bunch of 2-liter sodas that were just spraying everywhere because they'd been in the car accident. And so they were spraying everywhere. So that's one thing that was kind of a beautiful treat about them sodas, is that you could shake them up and you had a little party right there. And you could spray half of it and drink half of it. And that's kind of nice. Let's hear another call. Here we go.
Hey, Theo. It's Alex from Kentucky. I was just calling to comment on the guy who wrote in last week saying that he was a secret. And I want him to know that he ain't alone out there, that I myself was also a secret. My mother and a guy hooked up whenever they were young, had me, and then the guy, you know, like I said, they were just kids, and the guy kind of ran away or whatever. She moved back to Kentucky with me, and met up with who I always thought was my dad, my real dad. I had a little sister who was 5 years younger than me. I never thought anything other until I got at the age of about 13. And, of course, small town gossip. The man who raised me wasn't my real father.
Wow. And that's a wild rumor to hear around town. Because, you know, I remember hearing shit like, you know, there's a man that sleeps, you know, outdoors at night without a tent. And I remember hearing shit that, you know, somebody was crossbreeding animals. And you would hear stuff like, there's a woman they had a woman that kept like a rare coin. She had a wig and she would keep a rare coin under it. And so we would always be plotting on ways to, like, you know, get that wig off and, you know, get that treasure. But to hear that, you know, that you got a different family, that's a unique rumor. Let's hear more.
And then right at about that same time, he passed away, wrecked a semi-truck and died.
Damn. That's sad, man. That semi-truck, bro. Those things are fucking dangerous. You get hit by that shit or anything, man, you're fucked up. And they're square in the front. You know, mostly. Some of them, remember the old ones were just straight up square. They didn't even have a nose on them. What the fuck, man? But I'm sorry to hear that, bud. I'm sorry to hear that.
I finally reached out. I have 3 sisters, other than the one I was raised with, and 2 brothers. And I'm the oldest of all of them. They're great people. I finally went up there and met them. Got to hang out with them and everything. I never met the dad or whatever. Mike's his name. Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Well, look, there you go. You never know. You never know when, you know, and that's a gift. It's a gift. So your family gets bigger and your heart gets bigger and it's a little more unique. It's the same thing with thinking. It's the same thing when, you know, you had an 8-box and now you got that 64 hitter, somebody showed up. And you got fucking new family. You got new senior citizens. They got pets. You know, look at little Marco, the fucking Chichen Itzas. You know, you got it all. And everything changes, and that's it, man. Sometimes we get so stuck, we don't want to change. And that's one thing, man, I swear to God, dude, I've been thinking about the past couple of days. I'd never thought, you know, just going on a Joe Rogan's podcast and thinking about, and I'm not trying to keep name dropping that. It shook me. You know, I just woke up the next day thinking, wow, what if there's different universes? And what if you met yourself? Would you like yourself? And just my mind was a little more open. And your heart's a little more open when you get that kind of thing, when you get that new family member. Thank you for calling in, man. Let's hear let's hear this, dude. All right, we got this write-in that came in, and this is a text that came into the hotline. Hey, Theo, my name is Zach from Houston. Shout out H-Town. I'm 20. I'm texting from the hotline because I'm having brain surgery on Monday the 21st. I probably should have said procedure because surgery sounds aggressive, but it's not major brain surgery. They ain't cracking my skull open or anything. They're going through my artery to shoot some glue to make this thing stop growing. Damn, I don't know what's growing in your head, bro, but... you know, if it ain't ideas or hope, then it's probably pretty painful. And I'm sorry to hear that, dude. You know, and I appreciate you telling me about this. I don't understand it, but the doctors do. So I'm going to trust them. That's huge. That's huge to trust others. That's big, man. That's a very adult move, man. You say you're 20? That's a very adult move. Because you sitting there just so scared and concerned, and because you don't trust them, that I can only imagine how painful that would be. And so for you to put trust into them, that's very huge, man. I'm going to trust them. The thing is I'm nervous about is forgetting things or having a stroke, which could happen. It's rare, but it happens. I'm not afraid to die, so I kind of hope I die instead of have a stroke or be disabled. Man, that's brave of you, dude. Yeah, sometimes, yeah. Because look, you might come right back. God might need you right back. Right back Zach. You might be that dude right back Zach. That you live for 20 years and you pop right back. And they need you somewhere else. We need Zach over here. We need him in Wisconsin. We need him in Houston again. We need Zach in Zaire. Like people are like, damn, Zach's in Zaire. You might have, that might be for you. That might be God's plan for you, bro, or the higher power's plan for you, whatever you want to think, whatever you want to call it, that's fine. People get skirtish on the God thing. That's 3 letters, baby. That's just the quickest way to say you know what I'm saying. Is something else out there, pushing the pieces, playing the chessboard. But yeah, man, let me read a little bit more. So in case I forget something, I can read this and jog my memory. You really funny. Keep up the podcast and stand up and hope that show gets picked up on Comedy Central. Man, that's so nice of you, dude. Here you are, and he sent this. This came in yesterday. And here you are, you might be on your way out. And you're thinking about me, man. Thank you. When you're thinking about us. You're not just, I know you're thinking about a lot of people, but, you wanted to say you're funny and keep up the podcast and stand up. And I will, man. And look, and I'll be looking out for you. If you go to heaven, man, we'll be looking out for you on the flip side. That's right back, Zach. And if you don't go, then when I come to Houston, man, come out and be my guest, please. And look, I might make you laugh so hard. You might have a stroke then, bro. How crazy would that be, dude? Oh, this is so fucked up. I shouldn't be thinking about this. But we love you, bro. Thanks for reaching out, dude. You have a lot of people thinking about you. You're going to be okay. You're going to be okay either way. You're going to be okay either way, man. You sound like you got a huge heart. Okay, and all these calls come out of the hotline, and that's 985-664-9503. Anybody can hit the hotline with responses, suggestions for people, or issues that you're dealing with. If there's anything you're trying to, you're struggling with, or anything you want to think about. But yeah, if there's something you're struggling with, man, you got something in your heart, you got something in your feelings, man, get it out there. Don't keep that inside of you by yourself, because that's what's fucking us. Is that we're just afraid to feel, man. We're afraid to be vulnerable. And I am too. And we do it here together. So let's take this next hit here. Bang.
Hey, Theo. Long time listener, first time caller here. I heard you say on the Joe Rogan podcast that where you lived in Louisiana, there was a lot of magic mushrooms growing naturally.
Oh, yeah, boy. Oh, yeah.
I was just wondering if you could, maybe follow up on that. How do you identify those mushrooms? Is there like a taste process where maybe it's not like a psilocybin mushroom? So maybe you eat a little bit of shit on accident to try and test it to see if you'll get those effects.
Damn, bro. This sounds like you calling like a 1-900 number. Like this is like some kind of sex line or something about mushrooms. Like you want me to just like, oh yeah, baby. So what happened was I would take my shoes off, you see, and run out into that damp grass. And right there on the soil, you'd see a big old areola of cow dung. Man, that thing was shining and glistening. And right off the top of it, you would see a beautiful Mexico Murremo. And that is Latino, brother, for magic mushroom. You know what I'm saying? That David Copperfield that's going to give you them floppy feels, bruh. Man, you had them magic mushrooms. Dude, what do you mean? I ain't out there eating shit, bruh. This ain't a Japanese game show, daddy. This was young bucks out there. And dude, it looks like a magic mushroom. Google that bitch before you just run around a field with your mouth open. Because 96.7% of mushrooms are killers. Okay, that's why when you get that special 3%, it's magic. If you just getting them killers and you snacking on killers, you're going to fall apart. So get out there and get that hitter, man. Get the real thing. And it's beautiful white stem, and it's so just succulent looking. I mean, it looks like somebody just poured a tall glass of milk. That's how white the stem is. And then it's got this dirty little skirt, but the skirt doesn't even go down. It just goes straight out on the side around the stem. It's just this beautiful little purple skirt. And that's where the fucking magic is, boy. And that's where you feel the fucking Lord just licking the back of your neck when you get those hitters, bro. We ain't out there eating shit, dude. You being wild, boy. You being wild. But thank you for calling, man. Thank you for calling. You want that? Yeah, and then we put them in our mouths and everything changed. And the world just started, and just the clouds just started dripping out of the sky. And we were catching the drops in our mouths and spitting them on each other's backs. What you want to hear, man? What do you want to hear? Okay, let's take another call or two. Here we go.
Hey, what's up, Theo? This is Jesse. I live out here in Silver Lake. I'm a storyboard artist on Bob's Burgers. So I was at LA Fitness a couple weeks back. Got in there pretty early before work started.
Get in there. More?
So I was finishing up my workout, and I go and get in the shower, and
damn, you took a shower at LA Fitness, dude? Man, that's hectic, baby. More?
They have those soap dispensers that are up on the wall, about 4 feet or so off the ground, and they're clear so you can see inside to the soap.
And what was in it, dude? Semen?
I go and put my hand up underneath it because I'm about to get a couple squirts and lather up.
Damn, dude, you might want to talk to the mushroom, dude. I feel like both of you guys trying to meet each other. More?
And I see something's in there, so I look a little closer, and lo and behold, there is a 14-inch, fully intact turd.
Ooh! Ooh! Wow, I didn't expect that, man. Somebody put a turd in the straight up hand soap dispenser? Ooh. That is an archaic move, bro. That's old school, man. That's back in the, I mean, that's like something you would do like, that's like that old Trojan horse, bro. You think you're getting soap and then badam, boy. That's just, you got that, you got that feces, you think you're getting soap and then bam, boy, you got them fecal paws, bro. And that's just, that's pink eye waiting to happen. That's pink eye country you're flirting with. More?
Sitting in the soap dispenser, and it was pretty shocking. I didn't put the soap on my body.
You lie, bro. You are lying. And look, I love you, man. I appreciate you calling, Jesse, but you have to say that. You can't sit here and tell us the truth, man. Dude, we know what happened. There's no way you went the first time and then put it all. It's the second time you went back when you saw that fucking hitter. When you saw some dude drop that booty hitter into that soap dispenser. My God, I've never heard of this. Bro, where is the FBI? Where's the FDA? More?
I went out there, told the maintenance man that there was shit in the soap dispenser, and he basically stopped me mid-sentence and told me that it's been happening often and that they have a serial shitter. So figured I'd run that one by you and see if you've ever come across any dumps in any weird locations or taken a dump yourself.
Oh, that's a good question, man. Have you ever taken a dump yourself in a weird locale? Well, a lot of people know this. You know, I used to talk about this, or I've told this story. When I was growing up, they had a boy in my neighborhood, and he, named Mario, and he was Italian, bro. Or he said he was anyway, or his parents just pretended he was and named him Mario. And he was even named, I remember, after Super Mario, I think, the video game. So that's bizarre. But anyhow, he would, make poops in his yard and make me bury him so I could hang out with him. Because that was the only way he let me hang out with him. If when he did feces in the yard, I had to, I had this little beach shovel and a little pail, and I had to bury him in there for him. And so I did it. You know, I didn't know any better. I was a child, and I was wearing overalls. My mother always had me in overalls and shit. So I probably, in these little what are those hippie kind of sandals? Not hippie, but they're like, fucking, I don't know, man. They're like they're leather, and they look like, almost like indentured servants would wear them. They are Cumberland or something. Sandals. Fuck, I don't know. They're fucking sandals, bruh. And then, so I would wear these wild little sandals with these overalls. So I probably look like I should be burying shit. So that if somebody drove by and saw me out there, hiding these fucking little body bats, they weren't thinking that I was a bat. They probably like, oh yeah, you dress like that, you deserve to be fucking burying dukes. And this kid, Mario, would make me bury all his shits, bro. And this dude, and so it got repetitive. He was shitting all the time. So I've never had anything like that. I never had anybody poop in a soap dispenser, but I have had people, shit for fun in different places. And I was kind of, had a service commitment, at that boy's yard. But then years later, he died. He drove a bass boat into an embankment on, allegedly on drugs, and, rest in peace. And I actually wrote his parents a letter and told them about that, and told them what had happened back in the day. And I miss, and he was a wild boy. He had the wildness in him. Sometimes he had something extra going on in him. He just had like a special energy. He had a special energy. And he was into some of the dark arts, I think. And but anyhow, they buried him, I'm guessing, and they didn't let me be a pallbearer. And that kind of pissed me off, and a little bit somewhere in my head, I had a resentment. Because I'm like, man, these people fucking put that boy in the ground, and they didn't let me do it. Because nobody's put more of that boy in the ground than this boy right here. And God rest his soul, man. But, yeah, sorry that's happening, dude. There's people shitting in soap dispensers, dude. That's what happens, bro. That's what happens when you don't trust the government anymore. That's what happens when the Democratic Party railroads their own candidates. That's what happens when a 70-year-old man, Bernie Sanders, who gave his whole life to politics, gets fucked out of his own fucking nomination. That's what happens in this world, bro. Onward. Let's hear more.
Theo Vaughn, it's Noel from Los Angeles. Great job on the Joe Rogan podcast. Royal wedding was today. It was this morning, early this morning. It's late. I'm getting out of work. I'm a bartender in Santa Monica. You can come anytime you want. I'm also sober like you, but I bartend because I make money.
Thanks for calling in, Noah. Yeah, the royal wedding was this weekend. More?
Listen, about the royal wedding, it's a big deal. My wife was telling me all about it. You got the black girl. She's half white, half black. She's going to be in the royal family. It's a big deal. She's American. It's all these first times for everything. But I want to say, if you really want to be different, and you're Prince Harry, who looks like a ginger, marry another ginger. I got a buddy, he's a black guy, he's in all these commercials with a white wife and the mixed kid. The mixed thing is that's in right now. If you really want to be like a trailblazer and you're a red and you're a ginger, marry us another ginger. Keep the gingers going.
That's what I'm saying, man. That's true. Keep the gingers going, dude. That's a great point. Yeah, it's like, you want to be wild, do something that's out of the norm, that's not being seen. Marry somebody of your own style even. I'm not saying that don't interracial marry. I'm not saying any of that. But I'd love to see a big sister and a Japanese boy. Where's that at? I'd love to see a blonde-haired, blue-eyed gal and a thick and a Rubenesque Korean fella. I'd love to see that mix. But I'd also like to see that ginger on ginger. Would they even allow that? If you saw two gingers kissing at a stoplight, would you call the cops? Yeah, it's like, I agree. It's like, we want, different always changes. What's different always changes. And yeah, now it's like you see so many commercials where the family is also mixed. And I think it's good for advertising because you want everybody to feel, you don't want a kid to watch a Disney World commercial or Disneyland commercial. I've talked about this before and see only white people at Disneyland. or only what, certain types of people, or only wealthy people at Disneyland, or only Asian people at SeaWorld, or only, black people at, I'm trying to think of, or at Essence Fest. You want everybody to feel welcome, especially via advertising. But yeah, you want to do something wild, do something really brave. You know what I'm saying? You only got one eye? Marry somebody with only, with two eyes. Or you got two eyes? Marry somebody with fucking three eyes. Or half a dick. Do something different. You're not gay? Marry somebody with a dick. That's different. Do some unique stuff. Yeah, because sometimes the same old stuff is the same old stuff. Make that, you got an 8 box? Let's get that 64. You know what I'm saying? Somebody got one titty, fucking find somebody that's magenta. Let's make a real wild family. But ginger on ginger, dude, would they even allow it? These are the questions we're asking, man. These are the hard hitters. Oh, what else, man? I feel like we've done a pretty good job this week, man. Okay, yep. All right, we're going to take one more question here. Here we go.
Hey, Theo, this is Rob in Georgia, man.
What's up, Rob in Georgia? Thank you for calling, man. Beautiful state you have there.
I'm just listening to this Nicole Arbor podcast. As always, excited to see a new episode up. Anyway, I'm only 20 minutes in, and I can't help but notice you seem kind of hostile, man. Were you having a bad day when you interviewed her? Do you genuinely not like this woman? I just want to get your thoughts on that and wonder why you were feeling like that.
Thanks for calling, Rob. It was interesting having Nicole Arbor in. I think that she's a funny lady. I think she's an entertainer. I think, I'm not going to have somebody on the podcast because, there's this general thing in the air where people don't like them. Would I have Satan on? Yeah. Because you know why? I got a question for Satan. You think I'm sitting around with 0 questions for Satan? You're wrong. And I'm not comparing Nicole to Satan or anything. Like, look, I think Nicole's attractive. I think that she's funny. I just didn't. The thing was, man, honestly, and this took me an extra day or two to think about, and this is the last that I'll talk about this, is that I don't know if she's genuine. And that's what that's what made me feel uncomfortable. I don't believe that she is genuine. And I could be wrong, and I'm happy to be wrong, but I didn't feel it. And I felt uncomfortable. And so it was tough. It was tough. And yeah, I try to make it an interesting conversation. But I feel like she's constantly kind of in this PR world, and I don't like that world that much. I like something that's really real. If I can get real, and some days it's hard, man. Some days we don't fucking feel real. But there's times we can, if we those are special times these days. I feel like that. But yeah, I have that on that, man. So yeah, we've had a lot of great calls. I appreciate that call. We've had a lot of great ones this week. And I just appreciate you guys being in here with me, and just helping me. I'm just happy to be here, and I'm happy that you're here. And yeah, we got some cool dates coming up on the road. I'm going to try to keep my brain thinking this week. I'm going to try to not stay in my small cage sometimes. I'm going to try to maybe think, if I talk to somebody that I don't know if I agree with, or it's only going to help me. It's only going to help me. But if I stay too close to my template in my brain, then you can be kind of limited. You can be kind of limited. You're going to be limited to your yard. You're going to be in your fishbowl. Sometimes you got to fucking hop out and land in another tank. And that's okay, because you can always get back into your bowl. But that's one of the things that I took away from being on Joe's show, and that's one of and he makes me feel welcome, and you're welcome. Anybody is welcome here. Anybody is welcome here. And if we can't figure out why you're not, man, we'll figure it out. We're here to fucking figure shit out. You think I'm going to fucking live on this ball of dirt in the middle of nowhere and not try and figure some of this shit out? Not anymore. I'm not. Thank you guys for being here with me, man. Okay, we're going to close out here, and this is called, this was sent in through theovon.com, where you can send in, you can be a part of the podcast, merchandise, all kinds of stuff. And this is by Thomas Sciple, and this is called Gentilly Philly. And thank you guys for being here with me, and you guys be good to yourselves. You probably deserve it. Get in there! Man, that's good, huh? Thank you, Thomas. A lot of talent out in this world, isn't there? We're gonna be okay. You know that, guys, right? We got this.